Hi everyone, my name is Mark, and today we're going to take a look at another horrible case with you. Eric Richins was born on May 13, 1982, and throughout his life he touched the lives of those around him. Growing up, Eric was passionate about playing sports. He was actively involved in basketball, baseball, and soccer, showcasing his talent and love for staying active. His favorite activity was anything that involved being outdoors, and he excelled at hunting. Eric had a keen eye and an exceptional marksman, with trophy animals from all around the world adorning his wall. Known for his vibrant personality, Eric was someone who always brought joy and laughter into every room he entered. He had a genuine ability to entertain and make people smile. Whether it was through storytelling, playing practical jokes, or his infectious laughter, Eric was the life of the party. Living in Utah, Eric owned every motorized toy possible. From trucks to four-wheelers and snowmobiles, he thoroughly enjoyed exploring the outdoors and experiencing the thrill of adventure. Despite his love for having fun, Eric took his faith very seriously. He was a devoted member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. With the support of his family, Eric embarked on a mission trip to Mexico City, where he spent 2 years serving and learning Spanish fluently. After graduating high school, Eric continued his education at the University of Utah. He earned a bachelor's degree in international studies with a minor in Spanish. In 2009, Eric crossed paths with Corey Darden at Home Depot, where she worked. Eric, who frequented the store due to his work in construction, developed a friendly relationship with Corey over time. He found himself drawn to her charm and beauty, but was too nervous to approach her directly. Instead, Eric enlisted the help of a friend to gather her contact information on his behalf. One day, while shopping at Home Depot, Eric's friend approached Corey and discreetly requested her phone number, mentioning Eric's interest in getting to know her better. Grateful for his friend's assistance, Eric eagerly awaited the outcome. The next move was up to Eric. He mustered his courage and made the call to Corey, arranging their first face-to-face meeting. Little did he know that this meeting would forever change the course of his life. From the moment they met, Eric and Corey hit it off instantly. Their connection was undeniable, and their first date proved to be the beginning of a beautiful love story. As they introduced one another to their respective families, the bond between them grew even stronger. Corey's mother and brothers instantly embraced Eric, while Eric's family was equally impressed by Corey's character and compatibility with him. Eric's sisters, Katie and Amy, were initially protective of him, but they quickly warmed up to Corey and welcomed her into their family. In 2013, Eric and Corey made things official by getting married in an intimate ceremony. After their wedding, Corey gave birth to the couple's first child, Carter. Their family expanded with the arrival of Ashton, followed by Weston, completing the picture of their perfect little family. Fatherhood came easy to Eric, and his boys idolized him. Eric was proud of everything his sons did, whether it was their academic achievements, sports victories, or artistic endeavors. Eric was always there to cheer them on and celebrate their accomplishments. Eventually, Eric started a stone masonry business and had a lot of success. His craftsmanship and attention to detail were unparalleled, and clients flocked to him for his expertise in creating exquisite stonework. The business thrived, providing financial stability for Eric and his family. Corey worked in real estate, and she brought in money too. Her entrepreneurial spirit and knowledge of the local market made her a valuable asset to their growing family. She would purchase homes, flip them, and sell them for a profit. The Richins family had wealth. Their lifestyle was the epitome of success. On the surface, the Richins family appeared to have it all. However, this facade of perfection shattered on March 4, 2002, when Corey called 911 reporting that her husband Eric was unresponsive. When the paramedics arrived at the scene, they determined that Eric was already deceased. Corey, devastated by the news, called her mother, Lisa, who immediately rushed to be by her side. Her brothers, DJ and Ronnie, were also there, joining in their tears and disbelief. They all couldn't believe that Eric was gone. According to Corey, the night started peacefully. To celebrate the purchase of a mansion as part of her real estate business, she prepared Eric a drink before bed. It was a Moscow Mule made with ginger beer and vodka. Corey said she went to bed around 9 p.m., but laid down with her 9-year-old son in his room. The boy had nightmares, so Corey decided to sleep with him that night. However, around 3 a.m., Corey returned to her and Eric's bedroom. As she touched Eric, she felt that he was ice cold. She tried to wake him, but when he didn't respond, she knew something was wrong. As she waited for the paramedics to arrive, Corey recalled the dispatcher instructing her to perform CPR on Eric. Corey claimed she followed these instructions. The paramedics, lacking any clear indication of what caused Eric's death, speculated that it might have been an aneurysm. After all, Eric was a seemingly healthy 39-year-old with no known medical conditions. Upon further investigation, it was learned that the night before his death, Eric had complained to his wife Corey about chest pains. Corey's statement development further fueled suspicions of an aneurysm. Eric's autopsy results came as a shock to everyone involved in the case. His cause of death was determined to be a lethal dose of fentanyl. Fentanyl is a powerful pain medication that, when taken in excessive amounts, can be extremely dangerous and even fatal. The investigators were left with a crucial question: how had this substance found its way into Eric's system? From the moment of Eric's death, Corey and her family were quick to point fingers at his recreational drug use to explain why fentanyl was in his system. According to Corey, Eric would take a nightly THC gummy as a relaxation aid at the end of a long day. THC, the psychoactive ingredient in cannabis, was his favorite method of unwinding. However, Corey, her mother, and brothers expressed concerns about the source of these gummies. They believed that Eric did not always obtain them from reputable suppliers, and instead would purchase them off the street. Eric's mother-in-law, Lisa, was particularly troubled by this possibility. Due to Eric's history of recreational drug use, she wondered if he had also purchased pain pills from the streets, unknowingly putting himself at risk. However, Eric's family fiercely denied these allegations. They believed that something else was at play and urged investigators to explore alternative possibilities. Corey did her best to move on with her life, but according to her brother Ronnie, she faced immense challenges. The absence of their husband and father left a void in their lives, and their 3 sons lashed out at the uncertainty surrounding his passing. In an effort to cope with her grief and provide comfort to her children, Corey made the decision to channel her emotions into a creative outlet. She self-published a children's book titled Are You With Me on Amazon. The book aimed to help children understand and cope with the loss of a loved one. Corey's book told the story of a young boy who misses his deceased father. Through illustrations and storytelling, Corey depicted the character of Eric as an angel, always present and watchful over his son. Lisa, Corey's mother, expressed her approval of the book, stating that it brought her daughter and grandchildren a measure of solace. It allowed them to express their emotions. While Corey struggled to rebuild her life, detectives began investigating Eric's death. Their investigation led them to believe that foul play was involved. Within weeks of Corey's appearance on local Utah news stations promoting her book and discussing her journey through grief, she was arrested and charged with her husband's murder on May 8, 2023. The charges against Corey sent shockwaves through the community, as everyone tried to make sense of the tragic turn of events. This once promising story of a grieving wife and her endeavor to help children cope with loss transformed into an unimaginable tale of tragedy and betrayal. According to court documents, Corey committed homicide through the administration of a poison. The spokesperson for Eric's family is adamant that they think Corey intentionally put a lethal dose of fentanyl into the Moscow Mule she made for him the night he died. However, Corey's attorney has asserted that no fentanyl was found in the glassware at their home. Corey has denied any involvement in Eric's death, claiming that she had no motive to harm him. Lisa, Corey's mother, expressed shock and disbelief at the news of her daughter's alleged involvement in his death. She assured investigators that the couple was content and that there was no reason for Corey to kill him. However, during the course of the investigation, detectives discovered that the relationship between Corey and Eric was not as idyllic as they portrayed to the outside world. The couple had differences, and Corey, who was a stay-at-home mom for several years, longed to be independent. Additionally, Corey was becoming increasingly irritated by Eric's frequent hunting trips. According to Lisa, there was infidelity in the marriage on Eric's part, and he and Corey had confided in her about the affair. Eric and Corey decided to seek counseling in an attempt to work through their problems, but Eric's family denies he ever cheated on her. Their decision to go to marriage counseling was driven by Eric's genuine love for his sons and his desire to make the marriage work. Despite his efforts to save the marriage, Eric had begun contemplating the consequences of a potential divorce. As a result, he took steps to protect his assets. He discreetly set up a secret trust with his sister, Katie, without revealing his intentions. One of the key pieces of evidence discovered during the investigation was the existence of 6 life insurance policies on Eric, with a total value of $3 million. 2 months before Eric's death, Corey had also forged his signature on an additional policy worth $100,000. Additionally, it was discovered that Corey had allegedly stolen money from Eric's personal accounts and misused funds from his business dating back several years. According to a representative for Eric's family, Corey's house flipping business was not doing well, contrary to what she had claimed. In fact, it was millions of dollars in debt. The spokesperson alleged that Corey needed money in a hurry. They further stated that in a signed premarital agreement, Corey had given up any claim to the business assets, but if Eric were to die before she did while they were married, she would receive the assets. Corey's attorney disputed these allegations, stating that her business was not in debt. They explained that taking debt for lines of credit was how the flipping homes business operated, and when the houses were sold, the debt would be repaid. Corey's attorney emphasized that the large number alleged by the spokesperson was merely a reflection of business transactions. Lisa, Corey's mother, said that Eric had been supportive in Corey's business ventures, particularly when it came to purchasing the mansion they were celebrating the night he died. The mansion in question was located on a 10-acre estate in Heber Valley, in close proximity to major ski resorts in the area and Deer Creek Reservoir. This prime location offered a wide range of recreational activities. The mansion had been built back in 2017, but it remained abandoned until Corey discovered it. She financed the purchase through a group of investors, pooling their resources to make a generous offer on the mansion. Her plan was to develop it and transform it into a recreational hotspot. Corey's ultimate goal was to sell the completed property at a profit. Corey and Eric met with an accountant who calculated that the sale of the property could potentially generate a profit of $12 million. This amount represented a significant turnaround, as Corey had initially purchased the mansion for $3 million. By all accounts, Eric was on board with the purchase. However, Eric's family had differing memories. They contended that Eric was in fact against his wife buying the mansion and had fought with her about it. The spokesperson for Eric's family believes that the night he died, Corey gave him a drink laced with fentanyl. Additionally, they alleged that this incident was not the first time Corey attempted to kill Eric. According to Eric's family, in 2019, when Corey, Eric, and their friends were in Greece, Eric became violently ill after Corey gave him a drink. However, Ronnie, Corey's brother, denied these allegations, stating that his sister did not try to murder Eric. Ronnie explained that at the time of the trip, Eric was on antibiotics and was told not to consume alcohol. However, the bartender accidentally prepared a drink with liquor instead of the virgin that Eric had requested. Eric's family alleges that the second time Corey tried to murder Eric was on Valentine's Day 2022, 1 month before his death. On this day, Corey brought Eric a sandwich, and after taking a bite, Eric broke out in hives and had trouble breathing. According to Eric's family, they also questioned her behavior following Eric's death. The court documents stated that 2 days after Eric's death, Corey punched his sister Amy in the neck and face when she tried to open a safe containing between $125,000 and $165,000 in cash. However, Corey claimed that she was defending herself as she was attempting to retrieve important documents from the safe. 1 month after the incident, Corey was charged with assault. She ultimately pleaded no contest to the charges. In June 2023, Corey appeared in court for a bail hearing. The hearing lasted for 4 hours as Corey sat handcuffed next to her attorney as they attempt to convince the judge why she should be released on bail. Prosecutors introduced 3 witnesses and evidence to make their case that Corey had poisoned her husband. The state called a cell phone expert to the stand, and the expert was asked about Google searches found on Corey's phone that included topics such as: can deleted text messages be retrieved from an iPhone? Can FBI find deleted messages? And what is a lethal dose of fentanyl? However, Corey's attorney argued that those searches were conducted after Eric died, as Corey sought answers since she was being accused of murdering her husband. Prosecutors also contacted the lead detective involved in the case and questioned him about any potential sources that Corey could have used to obtain the drugs that were used to kill Eric. According to the detective, a woman named Carmen Lauber, who claimed to be a cleaner for Corey's business and home, told investigators about a meeting that took place in early 2022. During the call, Corey asked Carmen to procure fentanyl on behalf of an investor who had a back injury. Carmen, who had a criminal history involving drugs and was on probation for drug distribution charges when she was interviewed by the detectives, agreed to the request. She stated that she purchased 15 to 30 fentanyl pills and later met with Corey to exchange the pills for cash on February 11, 2022. This exchange occurred approximately 3 days before Valentine's Day, which is when court documents indicate that Corey reportedly attempted to poison Eric with a sandwich. During the investigation, Carmen informed the detective that Corey contacted her again, expressing a desire for more potent drugs. This time, Carmen disclosed that Corey paid for the pills with a check. She stated that a week after Eric's death, Corey wrote a check to Carmen for $1,300. However, Corey's attorney disputed these allegations and questioned whether it was possible to interpret the amount as payment for cleaning services. The detective admitted that such a scenario was conceivable. Additionally, Corey's attorney attempted to undermine Carmen's credibility by highlighting her status as a convicted felon on probation for 4 first-degree felonies. The attorney argued that Carmen's criminal history made her an unreliable witness. They suggested that Carmen may have been pressured to admit to selling the drugs, claiming that the detective had told her she faced a considerable amount of time in prison if she did not participate in the investigation. Corey's attorney inquired if there was any physical evidence indicating that Carmen had actually purchased the drugs. The detective divulged that there were no text messages found where Corey explicitly asked Carmen for drugs. Furthermore, no witnesses were able to corroborate that they had witnessed Carmen and Corey's exchange drugs. At the bail hearing, Eric's sister addressed the judge and expressed her concerns about her brother's death. She stated that the family had been deeply tormented by the horrific circumstances that led to Eric's passing, and they did not want Corey to subject them to further torment by being released on bail. Eric's sister implored the judge to maintain Corey's custody, and the judge agreed. Corey's family, on the other hand, was disappointed that she was being denied bail and would remain in jail awaiting trial. They argued that Corey's time behind bars had taken a toll on her mentally and physically. In 2023, Corey experienced a medical emergency while taking medication prescribed by jail officials. She had a seizure and was rushed to the hospital from the jail premises. Corey alleged that jail officials had given her the wrong medication, causing her to experience adverse effects. Fortunately, she recovered from this incident after being treated at the hospital. However, while Corey was away at the hospital, jail officials discovered a handwritten letter in her cell that was never sent to anyone. The letter was filed into court records and presented by the state as a note written by Corey to her mother. Prosecutors argued that this document provided further proof of Corey's intentions and motivations for her actions. In November 2023, prosecutors filed a motion with the court seeking a no-contact order to restrict Corey's access to her mother and brothers. The request was primarily due to the letter that had been found in Corey's cell, which the prosecutors said was evidence of witness tampering. Prosecutors alleged that in the letter, Corey provided her mother with specific instructions on how her brother, Ronnie, should present himself in court. Corey allegedly wanted Ronnie to establish that Eric obtained drugs while traveling abroad in Mexico. Specifically, the letter stated that Corey believed that Ronnie should testify that Eric had admitted to obtaining pain pills and fentanyl from Mexico. Additionally, Corey instructed Ronnie to obtain text messages from Eric discussing his use of drugs. Corey emphasized the importance of creating a connection between Eric's activities in Mexico and his alleged involvement in drugs. Corey adamantly denied the letter was witness tampering. According to Corey, the letter was nothing but a fictional creation. She said she wrote it as a fantasy story. The judge denied the motion for no contact, stating that the state failed to prove witness tampering. Corey and Eric's family are now seeking custody of their 3 sons, who are currently living with one of Eric's relatives. However, the boys have regular contact with their mother, Corey, through video calls twice a week from jail. Corey's family has not been granted private visits with the children, but they attend all of their sports events and practices as they are held in public places. If Corey is convicted of murdering her husband Eric by posting him with fentanyl in his drink, she faces a sentence of 25 years to life. Additionally, there are several civil cases filed against Corey regarding Eric's estate. Eric's family believes that Corey's family does not really care about the boys, and vice versa, as whoever gains custody of the children stands to gain control of Eric's money. Corey's trial is expected to begin sometime in 2025.
Like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe to the Investigation Room, where every case has a story.